1. The Communist Manifesto, 1848. Co-authored by Marx and Friedrich Engels, this pamphlet laid the foundation for communist ideology. It outlines the theory of class struggle, the problems with capitalism, and the revolutionary path to socialism and communism. Key quotes. The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. Main sections. Introduction. Overview of communism and its rise. I, bourgeois and proletarians. The class struggle and the rise of capitalism. 2. Proletarians and communists. The role of the proletariat and the aims of communism. The 3rd. Socialist and communist literature. Critique of previous socialist ideologies. 4. Position of the communists in relation to the various existing opposition parties. How communists relate to other political movements. 2. Das Kapital, Volume 1, 1867, Volumes 2 and 3, published posthumously by Engels. This is Marx's seminal work on political economy. It delves into the inner workings of capitalist economies, focusing on the concepts of value, labor, capital, and commodity fetishism. Key quotes. Capital is dead labor, which, vampire-like, lives only by sucking living labor, and lives the more labor it sucks. The worker becomes all the poorer the more wealth he produces. Main themes: commodity and money, introduction to the concept of commodities, use value, exchange value, and money. The labor theory of value. Marx's idea that value is determined by the labor required to produce goods. Surplus value. The process by which capitalists extract profit from the labor of workers. Capital accumulation and crisis. How capitalism perpetually accumulates capital, leading to cycles of boom and bust. 3. The German Ideology. Written 1846, published posthumously in 1932, co-authored with Engels, this book critiques the young Hegelians and lays out the materialist conception of history. It contrasts Marx's historical materialism with the idealism of other contemporary philosophers. Key quotes. Life is not determined by consciousness, but consciousness by life. The ideas of the ruling class are in every epoch the ruling ideas. Main ideas. Historical materialism. The idea that material conditions, such as the means of production, shape history and society, not ideas. Division of labor. Marx critiques the way labor is divided under capitalism, alienating workers from their work and from each other. Critique of ideology. Marx argues that ideology, such as religion or philosophy, is a reflection of material conditions and serves to justify the ruling class's power. 4. The Economic and Philosophic Manuscripts of 1844, published posthumously in 1932. These manuscripts represent Marx's early thoughts on economics, human nature, and alienation. They are also sometimes referred to as Marx's Paris manuscripts. Key quotes. The worker feels himself only when he is not working. When he is working, he does not feel himself. Private property has made us so stupid and one-sided that an object is only ours when we have it. Key concepts. Alienation. Marx's theory that under capitalism, workers are alienated from the products of their labor, the process of labor, their own humanity, and other people. Human nature. Marx argues that human beings are inherently creative and social, but capitalism distorts these capacities. Private property. He critiques private property as the basis of capitalist exploitation. 5. The Critique of the Gotha Program, 1875. In this work, Marx critiques the draft of the Gotha Program, which was intended to unite German socialist parties. He takes issue with what he saw as a compromise with capitalist and reformist ideas. Key quotes. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. The state is not abolished, it withers away. Main points. Critique of equal rights. Marx critiques the idea of equal distribution of goods, arguing that true equality requires the abolition of class distinctions. Dictatorship of the proletariat. Marx reaffirms the need for a proletarian state to suppress the capitalist class after a revolution. Transition from capitalism to communism. Marx outlines the stages from a socialist state to a classless, stateless society. 6. The 18th Brumaire of Louis Bonaparte, 1852. In this work, Marx analyzes the rise of Louis Napoleon Bonaparte in France and the nature of political power. He applies his theory of historical materialism to explain how Bonaparte's coup d'etat succeeded. Key quotes: "History repeats itself, first as tragedy, second as farce. Men make their own history, but they do not make it as they please." Key ideas: class struggle in France. Marx explains how different classes interacted and how the French bourgeoisie and peasantry allowed Bonaparte to seize power. Political power and class interests. Marx explores the relationship between class interests and the state, arguing that political institutions serve the interests of the ruling class. Role of the individual in history. While Marx emphasizes material forces, he also recognizes that individuals can play a significant role at certain historical junctures. 7. Grundrisse. Written 1857 to 1858, published posthumously in 1939. This is a collection of Marx's notebooks written as a rough draft of his economic theories, later fully developed in Das Kapital. It provides deep insights into his method and ideas on capitalism, labor, and society. Key quotes: "The free development of individualities is precisely the basis on which the free development of all depends. The production of too many useful things results in too many useless people." Key themes: pre-capitalist economic formations. Marx traces the development of economic systems through history. Contradictions of capitalism. He explores how capitalism creates wealth, but also sows the seeds of its own destruction through contradictions in production and consumption. Automation and labor. Marx speculates on how automation and mechanization might reduce the need for human labor, potentially leading to a crisis in capitalism.